Yo, welcome back to the No Bullshit Podcast. It's Conklin.
Huh?
And you guys see it here. I mean, last week you did a Cowboys video. You got two guests right here. You got the Eagles gear on. But like I said, I mean, introduce yourselves.
I seen him, man. The biggest Eagles fan of them all.
No, I might be a bigger fan of him, but I'm lean.
Yes, sir. I mean, shoot, just like the Cowboys video with Lucas, this video, it's been a long time in the making, man. Like, we've been planning this for like, a couple weeks now, and we're finally here. But like, just like the last video that we did last week, I'm just, give you guys the floor and just talk about briefly, what happened throughout the whole regular season, playoffs, and, basically your thoughts about whatever happened and stuff like that.
Oh, you want me to go? I got you. Um, I think throughout the season, I think the beginning of the season, it started off how it started off. We started off hot, but you could see some of the signs of undisciplined players, coaches, play calling, not utilizing their players correctly. And I think ever since that Bills game, that's where the Eagles used all of their strength. Was on that Bills game. They fought back, and ever since that Bills game, it went downhill from there. From the blowout to the 49ers, which I'm not going to talk about, to the loss to the well, we beat the Chiefs, but losing to the Cowboys and losing to the Cardinals, the Seahawks. I don't even want to keep talking, but I feel like the biggest disconnect was with players and coaches. I feel like the players gave up on the coaches at that point, and it was too late. And that's what we've seen in the playoffs, and that's what I think that was the biggest disconnect. And you can see it visually with Jalen. I think Jalen was the person you can really see it with, because the year he went to the bowl, you can see he was happy, he was dancing, he was celebrating, his demeanor was different. And then you can see it with AJ as well, him not talking to the media, like the subtle shots to the coaching staff and everybody. And that's why we went home to the Bucks in the first round.
Yeah,
What?
I agree with
Okay.
everything you just said. Regular season was a fucking roller coaster of all kinds of emotions. I think after we lost to the Jets, I knew that's how our season was going to end.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Our offense would struggle, and then our defense would pick up. But when our defense struggled, our offense would drop 35, and that was just how it was all year. I mean, it starts with the coaches. I don't know what the fuck Brian Johnson was smoking all year, but it was definitely something strong. And I wanted to assassinate him after that game, but I'd be in prison for the rest of my life. So, yeah, fuck Brian Johnson. Fuck Sean Desai. Fuck all them niggas. Excuse
Matt
my language.
Patricia, can't forget about him.
Matt, yeah,
Patricia.
fuck him. Fuck all them niggas.
What about the pencil, bro?
Shove that shit up his ass. Fuck that nigga.
Yo.
That's how I was feeling. That's how I was feeling all year. That's how I was feeling all year. So after that game, I knew that this team was going to go to hell, and it showed in the first round against Tampa Bay. We've been playing like shit ever since.
Oh,
And that's
well, I'm happy you guys said that, because I was gonna ask you, right? Like, and Lean kind of alluded to it. Like, it's the same question I asked Lucas last episode. Like, do you feel as though the faults of this season was more coach based or more player based? Like, I know it's never completely one side or the other, but which do you feel as though really played the biggest role?
I think it was coaching. You saw what Shane Steichen did last year. He opened the fucking field. He actually utilized his players, went through the middle, and now when you have a new coach at that, calling screenplays every 3rd and 20, shit like that happens. So
Get
yeah,
your
I think
players
it all came
injured.
down to coaching last year. Yeah, that you get your players injured.
Yeah.
Shit like that just shouldn't happen.
Yeah, and as a Chargers fan, it's a very similar experience. When I watch my team play, there's no type of complementary football. You know what I mean? It's never a game where both sides of the football are firing all cylinders. It's either the defense has to save the offense, or the offense has to save the defense. You know what I mean? And from a fan perspective, like, that shit sucks. You know what I mean? It's either shitty football being played, or you realizing your team can't get a fucking stop, right? And I feel like a lot of that does fall on the coaching staff, right? Because at the end of the day, what is something that teams always look for in coaches, right? That personality trait where you can be a leader of men, right? Where the fucking shots are flying, you're able to settle everything. And I feel as though I agree. A lot of times, when you guys be playing in these big games and these big moments, that the coaches would shrink. You know what I mean? Where they would make mistakes or put players in our inopportune positions, and hopefully with the additions that you guys made on your coaching staff, that we can see some level of the Eagles football that you guys have become accustomed to.
Yeah, and like just to piggyback off of Kai, right? Since we're talking about how coaching is like the main thing that was like holding the Eagles back this whole season. So I guess like my question to y'all is that how do you guys feel about Nick Sirianni? Because like you guys hire a guy in Kellen Moore, right? That he's gonna take control of that offense, right? But then you got the defensive coordinator, even more than that, Vic Fangio. We know how he wants it his way, and then like I think Nick Sirianni said something in the presser saying that like he said, "Oh, I'm not in the offensive meetings, so I'm gonna go to defensive meetings." Fuck no, you're not. I would tell you straight up because I went through that Vic Fangio defensive era, man. He wants things to be his way and his way only, and ain't nobody gonna tell him anything. And I think that's a good thing because like he needs other guys to tell him, "Yo, like do your job and we do our job." Right? Because I feel like Sirianni, he puts his hand into a little bit of too much things, right? Instead of like letting them do their own thing. Because like you know, I take it back from all the way from last year, like before the season started, when you guys had to make your new OC and DC hirings, right? I mean, usually that only takes like a week or so, right? He was taking forever, right? And I feel like if you're taking forever to find out who's going to be your new guy, then it's like you're overthinking it. You're overthinking it, right? And so but yeah, like like what do you guys think
Like,
about Nick Sirianni right
and,
now?
and, and, and before you guys, really get into that, I want to, I feel like you said something that's important, right? Where Nick Sirianni is not this experienced coach, right? Is he a great mind? Absolutely. But in terms of the experience department, that's where he's lacking. So I believe getting two guys that are experienced at what they do, right? Kellen Moore has been an offensive coordinator for a good amount of time now, longer than Nick Sirianni has been a head coach. Vic Fangio has been coaching football for God knows how long. I feel like getting those two guys in the building, it will be nothing but improvements in terms of just Nick Sirianni himself as a coach, where he can really
Mm-hmm.
lean on guys in moments like, okay, listen, you guys have experience in these moments. I will trust that experience rather than the guys he brought in, last year, where those are brand new guys, where you have an inexperienced head coach and even less experienced coordinators. Like, can it work? Absolutely. But as we can see, that's where that inexperience showed his ugly head at the second half of the season. But again, I am curious to see, how do you guys not only grade Nick Sirianni in terms of this season, right? But moving forward, how do you feel about him?
I think like the previous season, I thought Sirianni was a little too, what's the word I'm looking for? I thought he was like a yes man, and I think now that he's hired Fangio and Moore, that he actually knows what the fans want. We didn't want high school coaches. We wanted people with experience who can actually call plays and actually knows football. And now that we got two experienced OC and DC in a building, that really shows that he learned from his mistakes and he wanted to improve this team. And I'm all for it. You know what I mean? He learned from it. And the fans been bashing him the whole year. Get Sean Desai out of here and get Ben Johnson and get somebody who's experienced. And that's what they went out and did. So I tip my hat off to Sirianni for definitely learning from his mistakes.
Um, I think Sirianni did a good job, at least the year we went to the Super Bowl. Now last year, I think he got away from what got us to the Super Bowl, and I think they had a big. But put Shane leaving played a huge part in that, I think, because Shane wasn't going to allow Nick to do what Nick wanted to do without consulting it with him. So the offenses gelled together perfectly in a sense because whatever flaw was in Nick's play calling, Shane corrected. So not having him, and then the personal relationships. See, this is the same thing that happened with basketball with James Harden and Daryl Morey. The personal relationships between personal relationship between Jalen Hurts and Brian Johnson is what got him hired to be the offensive coordinator when he shouldn't have been hired. Period. And you see what happened. Jalen's like is like a whole disconnect. Even their relationship on the sidelines, you can see it. And Nick not being able to get control over his inexperienced coordinators, like you said. Nick is only in his second third year coaching. They're fresh. He's coming off from being a quarterback coach to controlling the entire offense, and you hiring Sean Desai from somewhere else to run a version of Vic Fangio's offense, which he couldn't run. And you can't say it's personnel because it's almost the same personnel. Well, you could say it's personnel a little bit. Linebacker is a little weaker, safety is weaker, but then he lost his job. Then you could see the panic started to set in during the season when we switched to Matt Patricia, which I thought was going to be an upgrade, but after that Seahawks game, it wasn't an upgrade. It was literally a downgrade.
Definitely blasphemous.
That Seahawks game should have got him fired alone. I don't know what he was consulting on before he got the DC promotion, but I think Nick hiring Vic and Kellen will help him because I think that he shouldn't even touch the offense. It should be similar to not similar, but what the 49ers do. Well, Kyle controls the offense and whoever DC is controls the defense. But Nick, I don't want you touching anything. You just control what you can control over there. You can dabble over here and there, but don't touch the offense. If that offense last year was your offense, I don't want to see it ever again. And the biggest thing that he got away from last year was the run game. And I think Jalen being hurt or being nicked up the entire season messed with that as well because you can see we didn't do as many quarterback option runs at all with Swift and all that, which I thought we were going to do, but the injury played a big part in that. But I feel like going forward, Nick is going to have to not be so stubborn and listen to the fans sometimes, which I think he did with hiring both of the coordinators, and I think we're going to see the big step in both sides of the ball this year.
Now I'm curious, right? Because I know you may be speaking of hyperbole. You say you don't want him to do anything, but I'm curious, right? Because then that leads to a question of what value does Nick Sirianni bring to this team, right? Let's just say that this next year is very successful, right? Both offense and defense. You could argue that the defensive success because of Vic Fangio and the offensive success was for Kellen Moore. So where does Nick Sirianni fit in this scenario where it's like, okay, we're paying you to be our head coach, but you're not doing anything, but it's working for our team. So it's like, at that point, could you see a scenario where your guys' season does go well and you still move on from Nick Sirianni?
I don't understand why Sirianni it's not really technically hyped, but he's definitely probably one of the best coaches in the league right now as far as how the team going. Take a team to the playoffs since you've been here. So people are gonna look at you as a good coach, correct? But I think he's the most useless thing on that sideline. I could be on that fucking sideline with a pen and paper and I'll look good on paper. But it's because he's getting carried by a top 5 offense and on paper probably a top 5 defense. So I think Sirianni is a liability. I don't think he needs to go, but I thought he was on the hot seat for a while last year, just because he wasn't taking accountability for the shit that he was putting out, and I didn't enjoy that, and the fans didn't. But yeah, I even asked during the midseason, what does he do? What does Sirianni do besides poke his lip out and cover his arms? And even though Brian Johnson called terrible plays sometimes, the offense carried him and made him look good. You know what I mean? So I thought Brian Johnson was a liability because he got carried. And I'm not going to speak on Sean Desai because, as I thought our defense was. We kind of regressed after we lost pieces like Hargrave and Edwards, and we knew we were going to regress, but not as bad as we thought. But
Yeah.
he looked terrible as well. But yeah, as far as Sirianni, he's getting carried, but it's making him look good. So I guess he could stay put for a while.
I don't see a scenario where that happens where we are successful and he's not there, because I think Howie and Jeffrey sees him as maybe the gel. If that was happening, he would be the gel because he's the one that's going to connect to the players. He connects to the players. That's one thing he he does do is connect with the players, and you can see it with his relationship with AJ, the veterans in the locker room, Jalen, of course. But I just don't see the scenario, because then that would mean you have to go on a whole other head coach search. Like that would be, and then the head coach would bring in his guys, unless you're promoting either Vic or Kellen, which then that could work as well. But then you would like got to try like a new head coach all over again, because Kellen hasn't been a head coach either as well. He's been a coordinator, so you would just be in the same cycle all over again, but with more success. But no, I don't see it happening unless I see him. If he will get fired if we have no success next season. That's what I think will happen. If we don't,
And
if next season is a failure, then I think he will be gone.
But you see, though, like the past few years we've been in the playoffs, we had Doug Peterson, who was new to head coaching. He took us to the playoffs. He got let go, and then, but you see, our roster was pretty good when he took us to Super Bowl and won. And
Yeah,
again, you let him go, and you bring in Nick Sirianni as a new head coach. Our roster was pretty good, and he took us to the playoffs. So I think they are definitely 1,000% getting carried. I think Doug Peterson is actually a better coach than Nick Sirianni. And
I agree. I agree.
yeah,
I agree.
yeah. I think but again, the offense was perfect. The offseason was great. We got additions that we needed. And the year before that, we went to Super Bowl. The same thing. We needed a safety. We had a top 5 linebacker core. Our receiving core was great. You got AJ Brown in the draft. Everything looked good. Everything looked good for Sirianni. And that's why I think that no matter who coaches, I can coach this team and take this team to playoffs. And I don't have to do anything. The offense is good. The whole team is good. So that's why I
That's
think
a
that
good point.
Sirianni is probably a liability right now. But I think
yeah,
he's still a good coach.
yeah. I mean, like, I guess like from an outsider point of view, right? And like obviously, I'm in Philly, so like obviously I turn on the Eagles games when I get a chance, right? Where the Niners are not playing, right? So I guess like from my point of view, it's like you're right. I mean, you do have to question like what does he actually do, right? I know, Liam. You brought up the point that like his job is to like he's the gel guy. He's the guy that's going to connect with the players, right? And that's true. That's true, right? And but we seen it during the Super Bowl run. But what I can say about this past season is that it was a total opposite.
Yep.
I think that he lost total control out of the locker room, right? Like when you see like I know you didn't want to bring it up, right? But like heading to the week of the Niners game, right? uh, there was a lot of talk. Obviously there was like some drama going on in the off season, right? But he made the whole point being that like you know, uh, they said this, they said that, not basically not worrying about yourselves, worrying about what we're saying, but not worrying about like what we got to do that we need to do better on, right?
Right.
You see, and this is, and I compare it to the Niners because like during that whole week, it's a big game. It's like possibly for the first seed, number one seed, right? And so you see from the Eagles, they're talking, they're talking their talk, right? Because obviously they won, right, and everything. But you're looking from the Niners' point of view, right? From that whole week, didn't say shit. They said we'll find out on Sunday, and that was and that shows with the coaching in the sense of like being a leader that like you keep things in house, right, and everything. But I feel like when you got AJ taking shots, you got fucking Slay talking on his podcast. I did my job. I did my job. But then you got Hertz like
I got
sometimes
something
just
to say
talk.
about
Hertz sometimes talking in like in quotes and stuff like that,
that.
talking
Shout
like a
out,
prophet.
shout out to the GOAT.
Yes.
Because it's one of those things. If you're winning, nobody cares. If you're losing, it's the talk of the town. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And that's sports, right? Shit talk,
Mm-hmm.
trash talk, that's just sports. So as though it was very important in terms of that I feel like that was the moment where the season split, right? Where
Yep.
and it's similar to what I said about, the Cowboys, when they lost in their playoff game. It's not if you lose or if you win, it's how you win and how you lose, right? I don't
Mhm.
feel as though if that game was very close, came down to the end, I think the Eagles season is still up, right? Because you played the team tough, but I feel like the way in which the game went down, and
Punished
like we
us.
said, like where Nick just the wheels just fell the fuck off and he was not able to reel the team back in. I
Yeah.
feel like that was the sign of where everybody, you get back into the locker room, everybody's, looking at each other, everybody's starting to point fingers and shit because at the end of the day, we got embarrassed. You know what I mean? And again, I feel like that is where a head coach shows, his value, where
Mm-hmm.
he can
Mm-hmm.
bring his team back in even after a loss like that and then go on a run. You know what I mean? Use
Exactly.
that as fuel. But there was times in that as you and then Liam was even talking about it, and many other Eagles fans were saying before y'all even started losing, like, yo, these wins we be getting been real shiesty. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Getting by the skin of our teeth against these teams that we should be blowing out, right? And I
Commanders.
know, listen, the Jets game. You know what I mean? Like and I get it. Everybody's professionals, and you are gonna have to win some hard games. But when it's week in and week out, like, and I was very optimistic for you guys. You know what I mean? And you guys were telling me like, I don't know, Kai, like this is different.
Yeah, I think everybody knew that game was a trap game besides me because I'm biased. I
Hmm.
thought that was a game we
Yeah.
should have won it and blew them out the water.
Mm-hmm.
Once I saw that, we know that the Jets defense is young and talented and fast and gritty. And
Hmm.
once I saw fucking Bryce Huff sacking Hurts 3 times in a row, I just knew it wasn't gonna be a good game.
He was looking like
And
Von Miller.
yeah,
Yep.
and after that, I thought, all right, this team is really is pretenders, and we looked like that the whole year because we shouldn't be losing.
Hmm.
We shouldn't lose to the Jets at all. Nobody should lose to the Jets when you got Zach Wilson back there. But
Yeah.
especially
Without their two
us,
best corners.
exactly. So
That
especially
Yeah. I
team.
us,
mean, we beat the
it
Jets.
was yeah. It was a
Yes.
win.
You know what?
My bad, bro. Let me
You know
It
what?
chill.
was
We're
yeah, it was
we're our
definitely supposed to
top
be
five pick. Let me
Yo.
chill.
yeah, it was definitely supposed to be a wake up call, and we just didn't wake the fuck up. So it was downhill
Hmm.
from there, in my opinion.
Well, just so we can wrap up last season, I just want to ask you guys like this simple question. So if you had to, give your guys' 2023 season a letter grade, what would it be?
William,
And
I'm
from
gonna let you go
from
first on this
start
one.
to
I gotta think on
finish, you
this
know what
one.
I mean? Don't
Yeah,
get too caught up in the beginning of
I
the
got you.
season. Don't get too, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
Start to finish, expectations, talent wise,
hmm
I get a season to C.
yeah, I'm at to
okay,
agree like a C
I
okay,
give it a
minus.
C.
Yeah, I give it a C
Talent was
minus.
it was too much talent, too much to be in the Super Bowl with that performance from our team. Well, from our offense
hmm
to come back the next season and to completely shit the bed with that much talent on both sides of the ball.
hmm
It had to be a C. It had to be
Yeah,
a C.
I give it a C. Again, he spoke on the talent part. This team didn't change much since the Super Bowl. We lost a few pieces, but that was easily replaceable. I think besides TJ Edwards. But
yeah.
we should have been back in at the Super Bowl playing the Chiefs. And for us to have that type of talent and again, like you said, shit the bed is yeah, I give it a C. It sums it up.
Well, I feel like this is the perfect time, to pivot to the future, right? Or at least I should say the present, right? You guys
Mm-hmm.
have made a lot of splashes in free agency. Howie's been cooking. So I
Yep.
want, to hear your guys's like, who do you feel as though so far has been the most important pickup of the offseason?
Hot take, man, Saquon Barkley.
Hmm.
I gotta go there. You don't pick up a top 8 running back to not use him. And I'm always optimistic about paying running backs top dollar because again they're replaceable. But when you got Saquon back there, and the biggest question with Swift last year was can he stay healthy because he wasn't healthy much on the Lions. He was healthy all
Hmm.
year, and he was a Pro Bowler. So our biggest question for Saquon now is it's not really the money. He deserves the money. He's a top 3 running back. We're healthy. So when you bring that in, the only question is, can he stay healthy? And we know what he's capable of doing when healthy. So I thought that was his biggest pickup in a while, and I love it. You want that type of running back in the offense with this offensive line. And it can only be up from here. So, yeah, shout out to Howie for doing something that we thought he was never going to do.
Definitely a surprise.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
we got Saquon. He's still young. We know the talent. The only thing is, can he stay healthy? And if he is, this will be his biggest pickup.
I'd have to agree. Saquon's the biggest pickup, man. Just I feel like he's gonna do the same kind of effect that Christian McCaffrey had on the 49ers. You see what he did. The difference is our offense has way more weapons. It's too dynamic. And to have the play call like
Can see
Kellen
that.
Moore with him, Kellen Moore pushed for him. And I think Saquon, the injuries, man, I think the big part of his injuries was that Giants offensive line.
Yeah,
It was terrible. It was terrible. The worst run blocking line in the league, and he was just getting worked and worked and worked and worked. The injuries was bound to happen. Now, he was almost a 1,000-yard rusher back-to-back seasons when he was behind that line, and I can only imagine what he's going to do behind the Eagles line. Even without Kelsey, I can only imagine the offense. The offense is too dynamic. You got two number one wide receivers on certain teams on certain teams in the NFL. Top 10 quarterback, top 5 in my eyes, but we're not gonna go there right now.
top
And
3.
then number 1 offensive line in the league, even without Kelsey, by the way. And him running behind that with like Goddard, AJ Brown, Devontae Smith, Hurts himself. Man, that the offense is gonna be too dynamic. You can't
The read
stop
options should be
everybody.
nasty.
You cannot
Can't wait.
stop everybody. The read options, the
It's gonna be
RPOs, you
beautiful.
can't stop everybody. It's going
And he'd even include the fact that he can block and he can catch the fucking football. Like, it's so much we could go on about Saquon. Like, he's just a great player.
Yeah.
And I can't wait to see him work next year.
Yeah, I mean, like, just go based off of that, before I get into, like, who I thought was your best pickup. I know you said that, you can only keep imagining. But, uh,
That's smart.
getting to like the off season, right? Yeah. So I think your best pickup, like for real though, is I think it got to be CJ, because like I feel like you guys last year, I mean, it showed, because like the versatility that CJ Gardner Johnson brings to the table is that not only can he play as a high safety, he can play in the box, and he can also play as a nickel, right? So he plays like basically 3 types of positions, right? And then him leaving, right, for 1 year, it showed. I mean, you guys tried your best to, fill in the holes, but it just did not look the same,
Yep.
right? Like, you guys are getting burnt every single time. And yes, you can, say about the tackling, but, it got open for a reason, right? It got open for a reason.
Right.
So, but yeah, I think definitely getting CJ Gardner Johnson is definitely gonna improve your defense for sure, right? It's gonna be interesting how he, Vic Fangio uses him, because he runs a different type of system where it allows your players to play more in the zone and keep everything in front. And we'll get into a little bit later about your newest acquisition early, as of late, Devin White and everything, right? But
That's that was who I was gonna say, because I wanted to be a little different, right? Obviously,
yeah.
Saquon was the big splash, right? But I feel like in terms of a player really fitting a need, I feel like it's Devin White, and it's a little bit of LSU bias, but I feel like honestly, bro, like this is a really good match, right? This is a guy that's 26, just turned 26 a couple weeks ago. And still in his athletic prime. He can give you guys a good 4 or 5 years, right? Where you get a linebacker that can go sideline to sideline. He's arguably going to be your fastest player on your defense, right? And at the linebacker position, that says a lot, right? This is a former top 5 pick. This is a Super Bowl champion. This is a former second team All Pro type player. where I feel like he can find his home and be rejuvenated in a Vic Fangio defense, right? Where you got that front line to fall back on. You got guys like CJ and Slay in the back end. I'm sure you guys, will make some type of moves moving forward for another DB, but the environment with which Devin White now finds himself in, it's hard not to be successful, right? It's hard not to
Mhm.
be better than the guys that you guys had last season, right? Like, so I really do feel like he will be very quietly impactful for you guys on defense, because when you guys went to the Super Bowl, um, what, or at least throughout the season, right? Not counting the actual Super Bowl itself, but throughout the season, the biggest things were your guys' defense and running the football. So I feel like with the moves that you guys have made this offseason, all that does is just harken back to both the Super Bowl runs that the Eagles have going on, right? Where you guys had, a defense that has made plays when they need to make plays. You've had the ability to run the ball when you want to run the ball. It's one thing to run the ball when you need to run it. It's another thing to run the ball when you want to, right? Where you can impose your will on another team. And that's something that, honestly, like Kaka said, as a fan on the outside looking in, that's something I wish my team was able to do. You know what I mean? Have a 3rd and 1 and not break a sweat. You know what I mean? Have
Yeah.
a 2nd and 4 and know for a fact we getting this first down, right? That is a
Yeah.
luxury that I feel as though a lot of teams aren't able to say. So to be able to kind of rebuild that, I feel like is going to be the biggest difference from last season to this one coming up.
Yeah, and then just real quick, just to comment on your Devin White pick, right? So similar to Kellen Moore, where he wanted Saquon, right? I feel like Fangio, he wanted Devin White,
Hmm.
right? One thing that we gotta say that Fangio knows on a defense is that he knows his linebackers. He definitely knows his linebackers. Any stop that he's been to, whether it's as like a coach or as a defensive coordinator or whatever, he always picks the right linebackers, right? And then coming to the offseason, people were saying that, oh, who's a linebacker that you guys could bring in, right? And then one of the names were I think Van Ginkel, the guy from the Dolphins, right? But yeah, getting a guy like Devin White is definitely going to improve your defense. I mean, I still think you guys still have to draft a linebacker for sure, 100%,
Yes,
right?
1,000%.
And so it's going to be interesting because if you guys get the right linebacker out the draft, who knows? Who knows, right? Because I've seen it. Like I said, I've seen it with my own eyes. He coached a defense where their two main stars were the linebackers and a Patrick Willis and a Navarro Bowman, right? So it's going to be interesting how everything plays out.
But that leads me to my next question, right? Because there's a lot of free agency, still left to be had. But I'm curious, right? Two things. One, uh, what position do you feel as though you guys should attack in the first round? And second, if you have a player that you have in mind.
Oh, that's tough. Hold on, Liam, I'm gonna let you get that. I gotta sit on that and think about that.
See, I'm not even sure. Of course, you have the age and position of corner, of course,
Mm.
corners, and you have the weak. So in the first round, pick 22, I think you gotta. It's unlike Howie, very, very unlike Howie. You gotta
Mm.
go get a linebacker, and and I
Ooh.
and I can't deal with my sanity won't let me sit there and wait to the second round and go wait for somebody to take our guy.
Okay.
And there's two guys that I want now. Some people might like one more than the other, but Cooper and Trotter Jr. Either one, man. It's like it's just too good. It's right there. The fit is there. It's a need. It's unlike Howie. He already did one. Some people say he already uses one move by going out and getting Saquon, but I feel like you have to go get you a linebacker. I would say corner is the close second, but with Keely, guys like Keely stepping up like they did last year. Eli Ricks, you got Slay and Bradbury back, but then you also got Isaiah Rodgers coming back too, which I think is going
Yes.
to be he's going to play a big role in the team, along with Chauncey coming back and getting our safety run deeper.
Mm.
I think at 22 it's at the corner position. Like Liam said, that our age and DBs are they're getting up there. And I would say like, well, that's what I thought Slade played pretty good last year. Uh, I think we'll attack the corner, try to find a replacement for either Bradbury or Slade when the time comes. We got younger at the position. We saw what Keely Reno did all last year. I thought he played good for the circumstances he was in. I actually think Eli Ricks fucking suck. I don't know why everybody give him props. Maybe it was just because he was used in the slot, and we know he's not
You're
a
giving
slot
us a lot
corner.
of clips for reals, man. I just want you
Yeah,
to know this.
I don't know
Thank you,
why
man.
he played the slot a lot, and as you saw, he got
He's
burnt
not a
in the
slot
slot
corner.
versus.
Can't
I think it was
tackle.
Seattle. He got cooked, but we saw versus Miami. He was literally 1-on-1 with Tyreek, and he
Mhm.
played a hell of a game that game. But
Yeah.
I saw some flashes in Eli. He just can't play the slot anymore. But I think they'll attack and get the corner of the future at 22.
So just going based off of that. I mean, you guys kind of both went the route of like untraditional Howie picks in the first round or early picks in general, right? So I want to focus on like maybe like what about the traditional picks? Like how would
Oh,
you
that's easy.
guys?
That's fucking easy. Tavondre Sweat out of Texas. I'm going D line at 22. D line at 22 is traditional for Howie Roseman. He's either that or offensive lineman. It's no in between.
Yes, D
I
I
line
think,
mean,
or
yeah,
either line is
either line
traditional
don't
Howie.
matter. That's traditional Howie. I think he'll go O line before D line. That would be the smartest thing to do because the
yeah.
offensive line class this year I think is pretty good, and you got a lot of talent in the first round. So
Mhm.
is it a fucking a need? Not necessarily, but if you got the talent there, like Jackson Powers out of Oregon, or Tyler Guyton, or I think his name is Graham Barton out of I forgot what college you go to.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the talent is there in the first round. I'm not opposed to it. Depends who's there, but if your guy is there and we're going to go the traditional way with Howie, I'm okay with it.
And I think that's fair because like coming to this draft, I feel like for what you guys need as a team, I think it's perfect the way the draft is set up, right? Because you look at the tackles, right? It's a pretty good tackle draft, right? It has a lot of depth, right? And especially some of the guys at the inside, right? There's that center that's like floating around who like had a very very good combine. I think it's like his name is Tanner out of Wisconsin or something like that. But yeah, that's a guy you guys could target like the middle rounds, something like that, right? And in terms of like even I heard you guys said it in the group chat, maybe like a third receiver, even though you guys drafted like a Devontae Parker. I mean, shoot, if you're able to get another receiver to combine with the AJ Brown and a Devontae Smith, just imagine, right? And we're just going down the list here. I mean, you know, is it possible that you guys draft a tight end? Is it possible? I mean, I know
Not
you guys.
not as early as you think. If they'll take a tight end, it's going to be later, like
Oh
towards
yeah,
the end of the draft.
I think he'll be in the second or the third if that's the thing. But I did
I
say
don't.
that we need a
Wait, did you say
tight
tight
end.
end in second round?
I can see how he's doing it.
See where?
I can
Sorry, that's
definitely
crazy.
see
Word.
how
No,
he.
no,
At
Yeah,
least me.
no.
I wouldn't do it,
If it
but I
isn't
can see how he's doing it.
If it isn't Brock Bowers, bro, I don't want to. I don't
I
want to fuck
agree.
with that.
I
really?
agree. I
Yes,
don't think
yes.
this tight end class is very good or very deep. I feel like after Brock Bowers, it's a very big drop off.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So unless
Yep.
Brock, curious,
Mysteriously falls to the second.
right? So you guys, have the 22 pick?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Say, we're at pick 18 and Brock Bowers is still on the board.
Yes.
You trade up?
Yes. Yes.
Interesting.
Mm.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I'll give you a follow up question to that. Like I said, we get the A team, right? Brock Bowers is there, right? But the number one corner is there, like either like a Tyron Mitchell, or Tyron Arnold, or Quinion Mitchell is right there. Who do you
No,
take? You still take
corner.
Bowers?
Taking Queen
No.
1,000%.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
Bowers, he doesn't even exist at that point.
I agree.
But
Even though Bowers is obviously a greater talent, I feel like at that point, team need
It's
exceeds
important.
that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Where
Mm-hmm.
I feel like they would get way more use out of, a top 3 corner in the class than the best tight end in the
Then
class.
the best tight end. Yep.
For sure, for sure. And like, just sticking on like again about like the traditional way, right? I mean, is it possible that you guys even trade back? Is it possible?
I
Right?
thought about
Or
that
like you
too.
said, or I mean, you guys have a lot of draft picks. Or a
We
decent
do.
amount of draft picks rather, right? And you guys address a lot of needs in free agency. So you guys
Mhm.
could be willing to sacrifice a few draft picks just to move up.
Yeah.
Right? And so like is there a player that you guys really, really want? Like I know you guys named a couple names, right? But like you said, if like realistically, right, what is a name or a prospect you guys think that you guys could get if somebody starts to drop?
And
Like realistically.
I'm gonna throw a second part to that question. Unrealistically, if you guys had the number 1 pick in the draft, who are you taking?
If I
I'm
had
curious.
the number 1 pick in the draft, who am I taking?
Oh, that's easy.
Got to take Marvin Harrison, bro.
Oh, that's crazy. I thought Caleb.
No. We got our quarterback.
I mean, you'll
think
finally
that
get a
we have
quarterback.
yeah. No, I
Fuck
think
off.
that we have our quarterback in Hurts, but you just can't pass up on that type of talent.
Okay.
Especially if I have number 1 overall pick. Now,
Mhm.
if a guy starts to fall, which I don't think he is, he could. I've seen a lot of mocks saying that he will. But even though we just today, as of today, maybe I wouldn't, but maybe I might would too. I love Chop Robinson, man. I
Ooh.
love Chop. That's my guy.
I'm
I
not
think he's
opposed to
gonna
him at
be
20,
there.
at 22. I'm not opposed to that.
I think he's gonna be
Getting
there.
Chop, getting Bryce, having I don't know. We don't know if Reddick is going to be there, but let's just say Reddick is not
Mhm.
there. So we got Josh, we got Nolan, you got Huff, and you bring in Chop. Going forward,
That's a
that D
nasty
line room
quartet.
with Jordan Davis, Milton Williams, who I think is really slept on, with Jalen Carter, that is going to be a nasty front 7
And very
in
young.
general, and
Very,
young,
very young.
and
And
very
fast.
young,
Yes.
fast and young. Nolan, one of the fast.
At every position. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Nolan might be one of the fastest players on our team in general.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
to him be coming off the edge like that with Chop as well. Sweat is fast and he can bend too. Oh man, I think
Okay.
Chop would be my pick if he's there at 22.
Number 1 for me, not so much of a hot take. If I have the number 1 overall pick, I'm taking Spencer Rattler out of South Carolina. Don't ask me any questions. Uh, as far as a player I want, and if he
What?
falls, Lab McConkley out of
Wait,
Georgia.
we just
What the fuck? Wait.
Wait, what the
Yeah, yeah.
As far
He's
as far
doing that
as
same shit the side was smoking, cuz. I don't know what
as
you
far
on, bro. What's in that tea, bro?
Yeah,
That's a twisted John? Because I don't know what
No,
the
it's-
fuck you
gotta be
talking
a
about,
twisted
bro.
listen,
that ain't no
listen.
brisk.
As
Yeah.
far I think he's
something in that, John.
I think he's a top 3 quarterback in this draft, and he's not getting the hype I think he deserves. But if he's 1, I'm taking him. That's
Okay,
just my
okay,
take.
wait. No. We
Wait, do
not
you
gonna
generally
just
feel
breeze
this way?
past that. No.
If I'm
We
taking
not
him,
gonna
I'm taking him at 1.
we're
I
not
love
You're
what
I love
lying.
Spencer Rattler since high school.
No, you're not.
I
No,
swear.
you're not.
listen.
Top 3?
Okay, right. We have to unpack that, right?
Let's do it.
So who do you have over Spencer Rattler? Because you say he's top 3.
Yeah,
Yeah.
correct. The only person I got over Caleb is Rattler is Caleb. I'm gonna go Caleb. I'm gonna go Spencer, and then I'm gonna go Daniels. That's my third right there.
Hmm.
I like Spencer, but I love Spencer, bro. I love his game. He
Why?
reminds me a lot of Hurts. His deep ball.
Except he does everything worse.
Yeah.
I'm just biased. I like Spencer Rattler ever since.
The bias with the bias I could understand it, but that's still outlandish. That's
Yeah. My man had to
the
take
bi-
his glasses off, bro.
No, for real.
Like that
Yeah.
was crazy. That was
I
crazy. You know what I mean?
Take
You're
Spencer
talking
Rattler.
about a guy. You're talking about a guy in Spencer Rattler that could possibly go undrafted, saying that you
Yeah.
would take
Bro,
him number 1 overall.
Did we not see him at the Senior Bowl? He's definitely improved in stock.
Did
I
you
think
not
he'll
see him
go.
at the combine?
Exactly. Did you see our video?
Did you see
What's
his
going
pro
on
day?
here?
Did you watch his pro day? He thought he had a really good pro day. I
But
think he's gonna.
Bro,
but
He's not getting the hype he deserves. I think
as
he's my top 3 quarterback.
good or as bad as his pro day may have been, because I will admit I did not watch that shit. But
yeah, me either.
I did watch his combine where he
Yeah.
came last in every single quarterback drill. There's no
that's
amount of, unless he was fucking throwing 99-yard passes at his pro day, I don't understand how you improve your stock from that. You get what I'm saying?
Facts.
Like, unless he's fucking running a 4-1 flat, I don't know what the fuck he's gonna be able to do that's gonna make him not an undrafted free agent. Like,
He's gonna get
you
a
guys will
perfect
probably
score
be
on
able
his
to
touch.
sign him after the draft. Huh?
I just want to give him his
That's a
flowers.
strong part.
I think he's solid. But no, at
Bro,
one,
you giving
I
him
think
more
we
than
need to get some
flowers,
testing.
yeah,
bro.
you're right.
I
At
think.
one, realistically, I'm taking Marvin Harrison 1,000%. Like you
Okay.
said.
Yeah.
Okay,
Let's go back on track. If a person falls that I want is Landon Conkley out of Georgia.
You don't think he'll be there?
I
If
think
we
he got
just
the
talking first round.
Oh, we talking at 20. Oh,
We just
oh, yeah,
talking
he'll be there
first
for sure.
round.
Yeah. I think he'll be there for sure.
Yeah.
1,000%. I would want Landon. I don't know what it is about white receivers. They just somehow get open, fast or slow. We saw Quez. He
They're
has a
students of the
4.2.
game. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
he has a.
Yeah.
We saw Quez. He has a 4.2
They're
speed.
gritty.
And
Wait, huh?
yeah, wow.
Yeah, episode 16, No Bullshit Podcast gets canceled. That's crazy.
Bro,
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It was a good run, boys. You know what I mean? It was a good run. You know, we had our fun, but,
That's on me.
you know,
Just
the channel's getting strike down.
Just edit that out.
Yeah. I just, you know, I actually kind of enjoyed this, so I would prefer us not to get strike down.
Yeah, man.
But, you know, so I feel like this is the perfect time to end off on this, right? This last final question. What is the season prediction, right? When it comes down to record, you know, what do you feel as though, in terms of record, you guys will do? And then if you believe you guys are going to go to the playoffs, right? What do you think you will do in the playoffs?
I think we'll repeat that Super Bowl season wholeheartedly, depending on the things how we do in the draft. Again, I think with just one hole to fill right now, it's a linebacker who can actually tackle, can cover a little bit. Like we didn't ask them to fucking cover the entire field, just cover that middle because they've been killing us the whole year previously.
We still will.
Yeah, get a guy who can cover, and we got our safety, we got our back, we're going to run football, we got a top 10 receiver and a top 10 receiver in it. Top 10, that's fair. AJ Brown.
Yeah.
Yes. Not even an
Top 3?
option. Yes.
We got a top 3 receiver, a top 10 receiver. We got a top 10 quarterback. We got a top 5.
Oh wait, you said receiver? I thought you said team. Oh, hold on.
Oh, yeah, we got a top 10 team. AJ Brown's top 10.
Okay, so I will argue against it, but we all can agree Jettas and Hill are 1 and 2, right? We all can agree on that at the very
100%.
least.
100%.
Okay. No, but at least we agree on that. You know what I mean?
Who's your 3?
Chase? You can put Chase in there.
No.
I'm putting Jamar Chase in my number 3. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
No.
I don't.
No.
What
What are you
does
talking
AJ
about
Brown
here?
do better than Jamar Chase?
What does Jamar Chase do better than AJ Brown?
Everything.
Exactly.
Wait, hold on.
I
Before we get to AJ, what about Devontae Adams? Come on now.
Bro,
No,
he's
I
in-
wouldn't.
he's in-
okay, so
he's in Las Vegas, bro.
I would take AJ. Yeah. This is my videoly fuck the Raiders. You know what I mean? Fuck the
Everybody's
Raiders.
started it.
Fuck their owner. Fuck their. I don't even know who the quarterback is. Fuck their quarterback.
Who the
Fuck
quarterback?
Devontae Adams. Fuck Max Crosby. I hope you see this. I hope you. I can fight. You know what I mean? Yeah, you know what I mean? I fuck with Christian Wilkins. I don't know why the fuck he decided to become a Raider. But yeah.
Really good question.
But no, I say that all to say I would take AJ Brown over Devontae Adams just because of just age. I feel like Devontae is kind of getting to that point where he, especially with the environment, I don't feel like I don't think a fall off is crazy. And I do feel like AJ Brown is still in his prime. In a very good situation. But
Yes.
I feel like there is a conversation to be had, right, about CD Lamb, right? I feel
What,
like
the
there
slot
is a
merchant?
conversation to be had. You know,
Fuck
he
that
played
nigga.
a lot out. He played a lot outside this year.
Fuck him.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He
Okay.
ain't my top 5. Damn sure ain't
Yeah.
my top
Okay.
10. Fuck
I
him.
definitely do. I do think AJ Brown is a top 5 wide receiver though. Like all
Oh
trolling
yeah.
aside, I definitely feel like he's a top 5
That's fair.
wide
That's
receiver.
fair. Can we
100%.
agree that Devontae is
That's
top
fair.
10?
Smith?
Yeah.
No.
Oh, and I thought you about Adams. I think Smitty.
I think Smith is top 10.
No. No.
Really?
No.
I think
Now,
I think he's up there with
You
CD.
can't. You can't be a top 10 wide receiver. You're not the number one wide receiver. You just can't.
but
I can't.
but
I can't
but you can't like you can't. I feel like it's only one ball.
because what you're is it? But all you're gonna able to hit me with, oh, if we didn't have, but you do. Oh well, if he had
Has
the
he,
same, but he
has he
doesn't.
made an All Pro? Has he made an All Pro?
No. Like I can list off a couple of guys that I would honestly take over Devontae Smith, and there's
Get it.
no real shot to Devontae Smith
Give me
because
three.
Go
Give me three.
ahead.
That's
No,
give me
go
three
ahead. I
that's
want to hear him.
close. Give me 3 that's close to Devontae right now.
3 that's close to Devontae.
Yeah. That should
Close
take
or
over.
better?
No, I'll just say close. I'll say Keenan Allen.
It's biased. Okay.
I'll say Brandon Ayuk.
Yeah.
I'll say. No, I think he's better than him. I think it's close with him and Waddle.
I was about to say Waddle.
I think him and Waddle
Yeah.
are close.
I think he's better than Waddle.
I think he's better.
I just
Waddle's
think-
overrated as fuck. Waddle's just
I
fast
just
and
think
small.
he's
Waddle's
better
been-
than Waddle.
Every year that Waddle's been healthy, he's had a better season than him.
That's
So-
facts.
They're in
And
a
you
more
can't. And you can't.
pass-heavy
you can't-
offense.
True, but
A way
and
more pass-heavy offense, and then you have a burner like Tyreek Hill. I mean, he's going to get. We don't have no burners. Now, I think. Now, I got it. I thought you were going to say was Amon-Ra St. Brown. Now,
Yeah,
I
don't
was,
think
but I
you don't
think
get
he's
close
better.
to
I
it.
think
I think
he's
he's better,
I
yeah.
just think he's better. I don't.
you just
I
think
don't
it's better.
it's-
Oh, it
yeah,
must be
I think-
crack.
Wait,
in
you think
your
Amon-Ra
room
St.
and
Brown is
crack
better
in
than
your
Devontae
room.
Smith?
Yeah,
Crazy, right?
I didn't think that was.
Just
That
maybe.
I
was-
just don't. I just don't believe. I think Amon-Ra is better than Brandon Ayuk, and no
Oh,
way
yeah, I
in
do
hell, no way in hell do I think that Brandon Ayuk is better than Devontae Smith. Now,
You don't think it's close?
Fuck no.
I'm not gonna say I don't think it's close, but
I mean,
why
that's
would
what I said.
what does-
I just said it was
what
close.
does Brandon
That's what I'm
Ayuk
saying.
do better than Devontae Smith?
What, is Brandon
Has
the
he-
catch? Probably.
Yeah.
Then again,
First of all, hold on,
definitely
hold on.
better
Smitty is
yak
good.
receiver.
Smitty is good. Smitty is good with Yak, but it's like I give him that. I give Ayuk that. But other than that, Smitty covers him in almost every other category. Jump ball.
I don't
route
know if I
running.
would say
hands.
covers him because I would say route run him and Brandon Ayuk in terms of route running. That's a toss up. I
That's
feel like
neck
they're
and neck.
on the same level in terms of route running. I don't think one way or the other anybody outright wins that because they both can get down. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? They both can make crazy catches. I just feel like no, and I will give you this. They are, and this is not just with these receivers we're talking about throughout the league. The different type of receivers. But if I'm just
Right.
thinking about what they just flat out what they've done in the league, right? I know we can say, oh well, this guy has this situation, this guy has that situation, but again, then we start playing with if, ands, or buts. And one thing I don't play with is butts. You dig what I'm saying?
You
So
feel much?
Wow.
nah, I feel like
Was that any pun? Please say no pun intended.
So I just feel like those guys are close. Now I will say Amon-Ra would take over him because even though yes, Smitty is playing in a wide receiver 2 role, this motherfucker got Jared Goff throwing him the ball. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, and that's not to say Jared Goff is ass, but Jared Goff we're not talking about as a top 10, top 5 quarterback. You know what I'm saying? So
Mhm.
the fact he's
Okay.
still doing that on a winning team, I feel like there's something that has to be said for that. Like
Okay,
I
but-
don't think if you put Devontae in the situation of Amon-Ra, he puts up better numbers. You know what I'm saying?
I do.
So
Devontae would be wide receiver 1 on that team.
If you put them both on the same team, Devontae would be wide receiver 1, and that's no bias at all. We're talking. I get the Jared Goff. I get the Jared Goff thing. But
Devontae will be wide receiver 1 on the Niners.
did you? Yes. Did you see?
Yes,
No, he
Did
won't.
you
yes.
see?
I
Did
don't think
we?
about that. Here's the thing:
I know.
it's a close. I think it's close. But I don't think so.
Because the first issue is we have to figure out who is the wide receiver 1 on the 49ers right now.
Well, they
You know
got
It's
what I'm
two
saying?
fucking
Ayuk.
running backs.
That's a conversation within
Brandon
It's
Brandon
Ayuk.
Ayuk.
Ayuk. They got two fucking running
It's
backs.
Brandon Ayuk,
It's
Christian
Brandon Ayuk.
McCaffrey, Debo Samuel. Brandon Ayuk,
No, but
Christian McCaffrey,
no,
Debo.
but here's my thing. My argument with Ayuk is that he put up crazy numbers, but having the fewest targets,
That's true.
the fewest catches. Right? He had 1,400 yards on 70 catches. What the
Yeah.
fuck?
Yeah,
Right?
I like
Like
Ayuk.
that's why I say like it's close. Now
that's what I'm saying. I'm not saying it's for sure
like,
better, but it's
I
close.
definitely I at the very least when I say it's close, I mean like because I really don't like to think of players in terms of like a ranking list in terms of 1 through 10, 1 through whatever. Because I feel like that's too hard, right? Because there's guys, whether it's quarterback, wide receiver, whatever, where through 6 through 10, I feel like they're all pretty comparable. You know what I'm saying? Like one may have the edge over the other, but I like to think of it more in tiers. So I would think all those guys are in the same tier. I feel like Brandon Ayuk, Devontae Smith, and Waddle are all on the same tier of if they were on a team by themselves, they could be the number 1 wide receiver. But
Yeah, for
because they
sure.
are, on a team with a bunch of other talent, they do take a little bit hit to the numbers. But when I
Yeah.
say that, I still can't put them over guys that are pure number 1s, regardless
Mhm.
of if it's because they're just better than the guys around them or if the guys around them are just bad. You know what I'm saying? It's just hard. Like, because I, as much as we can say, oh, he might do this, he might do that, these guys are actually doing it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and
That's
just to
fair.
comment on that real quick, I feel like there's too many good receivers. You know what I mean? Like, there's
Yeah.
a lot of good receivers, and like sometimes great receivers that we know that season in season out they play very well. Sometimes they have a bad year, and then their lists fluctuate from there. It's like, hold on now, are we forgetting that this guy is like still a very good
Yeah.
receiver, right?
Mhm.
And so like I feel like
Wait,
it's
so
like
on that realm, this is just a question out of curiosity. Who would you take right now, right? Not going forward, not whatever. Who would you take right now for a playoff run? Devontae Smith or Cooper Kupp?
Devontae
Cooper
Smith.
Kupp.
Cooper Cup.
Hmm.
Devontae
Talking about
Smith.
triple crown.
1,000%.
Triple crown.
Yeah, Cup.
Healthy.
I've seen enough
Yeah,
after that Tampa
no
game.
injuries. Like
No, I've
whoever you
seen enough
choose would
after that
not get
Tampa
injured
game.
in the season.
Yeah, I've seen enough after that Tampa game that Devontae can handle himself very well. What he had like 9 catches for like 140 yards.
Especially with the route tree he was given, but I would have to give the edge to
But
Cooper Kupp.
yeah, I like Cooper. I like Cooper Cup. I don't give him the flowers he deserves, but I'm biased, so I'm going to Devontae Smith 1,000%.
I can respect your honesty. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And we got a little sidetracked, but okay. So
Yeah.
back to the question, right?
Yeah, let me finish. I remember the question. I remember the question.
What is your
Yeah.
prediction for the season, right, in terms of wins, losses? And second, I'm gonna tweak my question a little bit. What would you view as a failure? Besides, y'all 0 and fucking 18. But like, what is like a realistic point where you're like, if we at least do this, I feel like we had a good season. But if we don't do that, we had a bad one.
If we can't stay healthy, it's a failure. But that's pretty obvious. But you don't spend all this money for Bryce Huff to tear his ACL. Saquon Barkley to tear a quad. CJ Gardner to fucking have CTE. That would be a failure 1,000%. As far as the things we need to be successful, a linebacker. We get that, we back in the Super Bowl. As far as how we end the season, 6-10, and we'll still go make the Super Bowl, and we're still gonna win. Let's go, boys. No.
Yeah,
I
bro.
brought my
Something
flag.
was in that brisk iced tea, bro. And that
This
shit was not a
motherfucker, did
brisk
you just
iced
say
tea, bro.
6 and
Like,
10 and win the Super? What the
bro, what are you on, bro?
So who
fuck?
can be second place in the division?
Washington.
At what? All right, bro, leave. So
All
again,
right.
I'll reiterate the question. So, what is a realistic,
Well, if it's
record that you
realistic,
guys
bro.
feel like you guys will have or should have, and what is like kind of that line in the sand of anything. This is if we do this besides obviously winning the Super Bowl. Every team's goal is to win a Super Bowl. Everything outside of a Super Bowl, what do you feel as though would be a successful season, and what do you feel as though anything under that would be a failure?
I'm predicting at least 13 wins. 13
Okay.
wins got to be the goal. Well, and the regular season goal. Now, the
Mm-hmm.
playoffs, we got to get back to the bowl. We was just in the bowl, and last year, I don't even want to talk about it, but we got to get back to the bowl. Now,
Mm-hmm.
a successful season without the bowl would be conference championship game, and we lose to 49ers or the Lions, who are, I think, up and coming, or the Packers. Don't sleep on the
Yeah.
Packers. But
Okay.
I think that is a successful season to me, barring any injuries.
Okay.
I think I have something similar. I won't say like because like for me, especially as a Niners fan, like I always keep like lower expectations, even though I think that we will do well, right? So like I think you guys could get definitely
I
12
wouldn't have
wins.
mine. 12?
But yeah, I think you guys regular season wise, I think you guys get 12 wins. That's solid,
That's
right?
fair.
Yeah, I should have told y'all to put your jerseys on. That was a fuck up by my behalf, but
I don't.
it's
I don't.
cool.
Mine's just not here.
Oh,
That's
okay.
cool.
You fuck up.
That's
You had
cool.
one job.
But
How
not,
many,
but
how
not
many
yet.
podcasts have you watched where motherfuckers got on T-shirts, cuz? Y'all fucking
Bro,
up the brand.
bro,
You know what I mean?
Got
Do
the
I get
goat.
past?
That's
Yes,
fucking Rod
sir.
Wave.
Yeah.
I get it.
He
But no,
lining up.
Yeah, bro, he gonna play D tackle.
that's crazy. But not actually though. Like regular season, I think 12 wins is reasonable, right? I think 13 anything more than that. I mean, obviously that's probably like first seed thing, right? I think it's going to be hard. I think it's going to be. I think the winner of the or like the number one seed is going to be like a 12 win team, 13 win team. It's going to be one of those, right? In terms of playoff success, I think for me, what I think would be a success for you guys is anywhere from honestly like divisional round and NFC championship, something around there, right? Because like I said, like anything. Because for example, right, you guys get into playoffs, but you guys are way better. Instead of being like 10 wins, right, or like how you guys ended up, you guys had like I don't know like 12, 13 wins, right? But then if you get bounced out in like a close game in the divisional round, I mean, it is what it is. Things happen, crazy shit happens, whatever, right? But I think that'll kind of be like a success. I mean, things did get better. You see the improvement, but like I said, I know like with all the acquisitions you guys had, I know I can see why this is like Super Bowl or bust and stuff like that. So that's definitely reasonable. But I feel like in my opinion, it's like at least divisional round being in a close game, not like a blowout. It has to be a close game, depending on how that goes, right? But anywhere from there to NC Championship, I think that would be success for you guys.
Yeah, and I agree with Lean, right? I feel like anything short of the NFC Championship game is a failure, regardless of how the divisional round goes. This roster is just way too talented to not get to an NFC Championship game, right? This is a team that in recent history has been in multiple NFC Championship games, has gone to multiple Super Bowls, so the expectations are different, right? As much as you talk about the Packers and the Lions up and coming, those are good markers for those teams, right? To make it to divisional round against a possible Philly
Mm-hmm.
49ers and play well. But I feel like the Eagles have to reclaim their spot as a top dog in the NFC, right? And that's not just to say a Super Bowl, but I feel like anything short of the NFC Championship game and not winning the fucking NFC East, I feel like that you guys have
Oh,
to win
that
the
came.
NFC
Oh, that
East
came
this
with
next
that
season.
came with the
You know,
13 wins.
that's what I'm saying. I was like,
Yeah.
because last season, that was, you know what I mean? You guys were in the driver's seat of the division the entire season. To have that slip away the way it, you know what I mean? You guys were in position to be back-to-back champions, something we haven't seen in a very long time. So I feel like that is definitely, if I'm, an Eagles player, Eagles fan, that is definitely a mark that has to be checked off. But
Mhm.
it's NFC Championship game or bust. And I feel like honestly, if y'all lose to any team besides San Francisco, that may be questionable.
And I mean, I think that's fair. I mean, I for sure like I respect with all you guys whatever you guys said about like your season predictions and how it should play out. What's like what's a bust? What's like a good season? What's a bad season?
Mm-hmm.
Right? But like like Kai said, right? And I said this in a group chat earlier, right? A couple of days ago. I feel like coming to the season, no matter like last season, that was last season, right? This season is a new season, right? Every year you have the opportunity to prove yourself as a top dog, right? And so it's going to be interesting how everything plays out. And like I know that we've had Niners and Eagles. They always like butt heads or whatever the past couple seasons, right? And you know I want to create us a rivalry, man. I mean, I know a lot of people are talking about the Lions and Packers, stuff like that. Fuck all of that. I think the Niners and Eagles, if they continue where they're going, I think this could be a new rivalry brewing, right? Not that it probably already is, right? I think that this could be something, worthwhile, just like, it could be like a Niners Cowboys type of situation where like, we always meet each other in the playoffs and, you win some, you lose some type of thing, right? But with that said, we like I said, we had the our Cowboys fan Lucas. He came on last week, and then we got Kasim and Liam came in on today for from the Eagles perspective, right? And this is your guys' opportunity to like let us know in the comments about like how you guys think the Eagles going to do, and what do you guys think that they still have to improve on, because the free agency isn't over, right?
Mhm.
There's a lot of time between now and the draft, and after that the draft. I mean, the draft is a crazy, crazy thing that happens, and we all look forward to it. Shoot, I look forward to now a fucking first round pick. so,
Listen,
so
Draft
yeah,
and
draft
you
live
guys
stream.
be listen. I was just about to say, you guys, you got to be on the lookout because that's definitely something we're cooking up of. Possibly having a draft live stream, man. Like it would be very interesting to see our live reactions as to
Yo, we gotta
what the
do it. We
draft
gotta do
is.
it.
It has to be
Listen,
done.
Gotta be done.
this is the first year in a very long time where all of our teams have had picks, right? So it's one of
Yeah.
those things.
Here's how it's gonna feel. I don't own a television. I watch that shit on TikTok. I own nothing. All I have is a P5 and a monitor. Bro, it's no way I can watch it. Literally. I don't
Are
own a
Crack
you
television.
like
streams.
on the run? Like what is, bro?
Bro, bro, I don't own a television. I have nothing. Bro, I have nothing. All I got is a P5 and a monitor. Everything
All right,
I
guys. In
watch.
the comments, we'll have a
We gonna
GoFundMe
hook
to
you
get
up.
Kasim a TV.
yeah,
So stay tuned for that. Like as we always say, we appreciate the love and support, bro. Y'all been going crazy on Instagram with our reels, man.
yes.
Like
Talk about
it's been
it.
blowing our minds, and we urge
Yep.
you guys to keep it going, right? Because we don't plan on stopping. So with
Hmm.
that being said, man, it's been a no bullshit podcast, and we'll catch you on the next one.
Yes,
Sure.
sir. Peace.